and welcome to Tomi Talks TV, the place to be to build great love relationships. Now, first of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you for all your support, for all your likes and your shares and your comments on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. I really appreciate it because you're helping us spread the message further, faster. So thank you very much indeed. You've been a wonderful audience. Now, today I'd like to talk to you about how to be more satisfied in marriage. Now, somebody's already thinking, if my husband could do less of this, or if my wife could do more of that, then I would be more satisfied in my marriage. But I'd like us to look at it from a different perspective, because you see, if your satisfaction in marriage depends on your spouse doing something, then you cannot increase your own satisfaction in marriage. But there's a different way to look at it. Now, there are two ways to engage in a marriage relationship. The first of them is using a magnifying glass. That's figuratively, of course. Now, I have here a magnifying glass, which I want to use to illustrate. Now, essentially what a magnifying glass does is that it magnifies things. It makes them bigger. So if you engage in your relationship, in your marriage, using a magnifying glass, what that simply means is this: your spouse's faults will look bigger. Your spouse's weaknesses will look bigger. There will be a tendency to see your spouse's flaws more than you would have seen if you had not been using a magnifying glass. So if you have a magnifying glass mentality, then you will constantly be looking out for what your spouse is doing wrong, what their faults are, what else they should be doing that they are not doing. But you see, there's a different way to engage in a relationship. Now, if you engage in your marriage relationship using a mirror, now that's a completely different thing. Now, I've got here a mirror. Now, if you use a mirror in engaging in your marriage relationship, what it simply means is this: rather than looking at your spouse's faults through a magnifying glass, you're looking at yourself and looking at the things that actually you could improve in yourself. You see, the Bible puts it this way. It says, "Judge not that you be not judged," because the same way in which you judge others is how you be judged as well. You see, I've come to realize that as human beings, we tend to judge ourselves with our hearts, but we judge others with our heads. So that means that usually when you're dealing with yourself, you tend to be more accepting, but when you're dealing with your spouse or with other people, you tend to be a bit more critical. So being critical in a relationship tends to reduce our satisfaction in that relationship. So what I'm saying is this: try acceptance instead. Rather than constantly criticizing and complaining about your spouse, why not try acceptance? Because your spouse deserves to be received for who they are rather than being judged for who they are not. At the end of the day, we all have our faults, we all have our weaknesses, and we're all looking for someone who can accept us for who we are, celebrate us for who we are, and minimize our faults and our weaknesses. So if you engage in your marriage with the tendency to look at the fact that, well, if I look in the mirror, I also have my faults and I need grace as well, so I'm going to give grace to my spouse, then it makes marriage a whole lot more satisfactory. Well, I hope this has helped you. If this has helped you, then please leave me a message on Facebook or Twitter. And if you've got a question you would like me to answer, then head on over to tomitalks.com/ask and I'll answer your question next time. See you next time. Bye-bye.